Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, boxing, there's a whole lot of upsets going on all over the place, lately, period. You know what I'm saying? A lot of upsets. We can go back to Cambosis beating Teofimo Lopez, you know what I mean? The upsets just popping off. Colbert lost to your boy Garcia over the weekend. Garcia was a late replacement. Colbert was one of them up-and-coming brothers that we know is good, like Jerron Ennis. We know they're good. But Colbert got manhandled, and lost in every facet of the fight against a guy that was a late replacement, Garcia, right? So, things can happen, and that's good. But one thing I would like to note about Colbert and Garcia, see how brothers are? When even a brother that's good, we think it's going to be the bomb soon, loses, and everybody's fair. That Garcia dude came in and handled his business. Ain't nobody making no excuses or nothing. Yeah, that's how brothers roll. I love it. Keep it up, bros. Now, another upset, and the biggest one, is because it was an undisputed fighter, right? And it's an undisputed fighter who did it the right way by joining in the WBSS tournament, World Boxing Super Series tournaments, where most of the fighters, the spoiled fighters that we have today, wouldn't even get in one of these tournaments. So the fighters, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now, the fighters that even enter these tournaments, these are tournaments where the very best fighters in the division meet over about a year and a half, and they find out if they have a quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, right? And we find out who the very best is in the division. The ones that are coddled won't even enter these. Now, I'm trying not to mention names, but most people won't even enter the tournament. You think we'd have a tournament at 168 now that so-and-so would get in it, or 175 or 160, that we know people wouldn't get in it. We have a lightweight tournament. I don't think it'd be about 2 or 3 people in that tournament if we had a lightweight tournament. Everybody wouldn't want to come because we making money without fighting the best. How the hell you think I'm going to go in a tournament where it's only the best? The quarterfinals already hard. That's why I roll with Alexander Usyk, right? And we got to give them our prayers because they're doing stuff that's really heroic right now in Ukraine, which I also want to make everything we're talking about boxing, it's relative in comparison to what's going on in Ukraine, and the fighters, Lomachenko, Usyk, and the Klitschko's are over there and they're getting on the front line and handling their business. That's heroism, or heroism is what you call it, and that's real. Right, I understand that. I've been on the border before, and back in the day, even without ammunition, but it wasn't as real as this. I wouldn't have to worry about a bomb about to be thrown. So this is more important. But Lomachenko wouldn't get in the tournament, but I ain't gonna say nothing else about that because this is more heroic than a damn tournament. But when it's WBSS tournaments, it was the best thing for boxing. But it didn't get any legs because people don't want to find out who the best is, right? They have problems getting sponsors and everything. Think about it. A tournament, well, hey, we got eight fighters. They all decide the 8 best in the division, just like in the cruiserweight division with Alexander Usyk. When he won that undisputed title, let me tell you, he fought the very best that division has to offer, right? It was just ridiculous who was in that tournament. And so that's why, to today, he's the bomb. He's the main man, in my opinion. Now, but we had in the 140-pound division, which Terence Crawford was undisputed at not too long ago. And then your boy Josh Taylor was undisputed in the 140 pounds, and he did it the right way. He beat who was put in front of him. Biggest win has to be Regis Prograis, who he beat, right? And so therefore, he's the baddest one. He did it the right way. But over the weekend, he got bested from Jack Catterall. Now, Catterall won that fight, right? He won the fight, I think, but he got a split decision loss, right? Now, he won the fight, but I don't quite agree with robbery. Robbery we should really use for fights where people really, really got robbed, right? I don't know if we say robbery here. See, the thing is, when you become undisputed, then it's special for me here. Now, I know a lot of you, I'm probably going to be wrong here for a lot of people, right? It's just my opinion. But this is how I roll. I just think that when somebody's undisputed and did it the right way, right, that a bad day at the office where you like barely lose, I just think that a person like Catterall beat him. But your boy Taylor was coming forward the whole fight, right? Now, I could tell you a fight just, 3 months ago? with Guillermo Rigondeaux and Casemiro. Guillermo Rigondeaux outboxed the guy, but the guy kept coming forward, never hit him, and they gave him the fight, right? So, because he was the champion, he wasn't undisputed at all. You see what I mean? So, but Taylor is undisputed. I just think that the best case scenario would have been a draw, and they had to fight again, just so Jack Catterall would get his props for doing so well. But I think to take a title from an undisputed champion, it should be a little bit more done than that. It's just my opinion. I just think it's a little bit more done than what, he beat him, but it wasn't like he beat the hell out of him. He had him down, but, Taylor kept coming forward. Now, he kept getting popped with them straight left hands, too. You know what I mean? And he was getting out-jabbed, but he was still coming forward, right? And if they gonna give Casemiro a fight where he never landed a punch, really, he just was coming forward, then we got Robbery we're going to use for everything. So what are we going to use for the fights that were worse than this one? If this is a Robbery, I just think that an undisputed champion should have a little bit more leeway. You shouldn't be able to barely beat an undefeated, undisputed champion. That's my only issue. Because I'm going to just say this. If Jack Catterall wins the fight, he's undisputed champion. And I'm not sure I would be happy with that. I think an undisputed champion should show some distance between the guy that the next guys. A little bit more distance. And there's no knock to Catterall because he handled his business. It's just kind of like, listen, undisputed champions are rare, right? It's even rare for boxers to even want to be that, because if you not black, let me just say how it is, then you can kind of just fight who the hell you want, and people are going to be okay with it. We have thousands of examples. I'm being nice in this video. I'm trying not to name names. You noticed? So, you can fight whoever. But there's something about the guys who will get into a tournament with all of the best to find out who the very best is, or will become undisputed. And so they need a few extra points for days like this at the office, which probably for Taylor, hey man, Josh probably said, listen, he wasn't probably so motivated for this guy, and found out too late that while he was getting beat up, he ain't that good because he came in trying to knock out Catterall and was getting countered, right? But I don't think he got beat up bad enough to where the title should have changed. If he had one title, a whole different. I'm talking totally different. But Josh Taylor did put in the work to become undisputed, and I don't think that you should barely beat him and get a title. You could beat him and then get a draw, and then y'all got to fight again. Does Josh Taylor, in my opinion, have to fight Jack Catterall again? Hell yeah. Because Jack Catterall should not be able to have to leave this fight with a loss, and that's it. That ain't right either. So I think somebody should be requesting just a rematch to see if Jack Catterall can do this again. And if he did, and if he barely beats him again, but does it again, then maybe. Because we're talking undisputed. Jack Catterall, the very best 140-pounder, right? Undisputed. A little bit more needs to come, right? And I know this one might not, this is a controversial way of looking at it, and probably not a lot of people, but I'm just how I am when it comes to undisputed, because that's one of the only reasons I'm trying to watch boxing, to see who's going to become undisputed and who wants to become undisputed, because they've made all these belts to make money, right? But, I watch boxing just like I watch any other sport. At the end, I want to know who the damn best is. And in boxing, that's so hard, so those who did it, I got a lot of love for. And for them, I don't want to see them barely get beat. And then all that undisputed work I did, somebody just beat me on that night barely, and now he's running around talking about undisputed. I have a little issue with that. Other than that, congratulations, Catterall, because you won the damn fight. Period. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.